How can I afford to travel to so many film festivals? That's the number one question. So let me break down the strategy and the tactics. I'm in Toronto, headed to Yorkton, which is North America's oldest film festival, then Fascination Winnipeg, then Toronto for the Oya Black Arts Coalition graduation ceremony where I'm a mentor. Real talk, Yorkton is the top priority. It's a Canadian Screen Award qualifying festival. We're nominated for a bunch of awards. It's the oldest festival in North America, which is cool. And my granddad's from Saskatchewan and I've never been. All those things together mean green light. So I checked flight costs roughly, took screenshots, threw those into Claude.ai, which is my preferred AI because it's been tested as the smartest for recognizing context. The results? It would cost me about $300 to get to Regina one way without a carry-on, which I'll get back to. But there was no cost-effective way to get home to Montreal. Fortunately, with the other events, it was actually half the price for the total trip if I rented a car, drove to Winnipeg to attend the Fascination Gala, and then flew from Winnipeg to Toronto the following day, and then I'll take the train back Tuesday from Toronto to Montreal. Some of the other perks that made this possible, my Amex Platinum card got me into this lounge. I know it's expensive, but if you travel, I would say even 5 trips a year, it really does pay for itself. Now, when I say 5 trips, I mean 5 trips, which is usually at least 10 to 15 legs, which means that each of those stopovers, you can be getting a meal, and I don't drink, but if you drink, a couple drinks. So that pays for itself, not to mention some of those additional membership perks like Expedia, Booking, Hilton, etc. Now, here's something new worth mentioning because a lot of the airlines are putting in kind of basic economy packages that don't include a carry-on, but I brought one anyway because I needed my suit and dress shoes for the gala. Now, this is the first time I booked one of those kind of no carry-on flights, so I'm treating this as a tiny experiment to kind of see how it works. My theory was that Air Canada in particular usually has big flights and they usually get overbooked and they offer you to check your luggage for free when you're at the gate. So I was kind of hoping that they would do that. I wouldn't have to pay. They didn't. So I just waited a little bit so that the flight was almost ready to take off. So I was one of the last ones to get on. He just didn't check. It was all good. But my theory was by that point, they would be weighing how long it would take for me to pay for that carry-on against how long it could take for the flight to get delayed, in which case they'd have to pay a fine. So I was kind of banking on one way or another the carry-on ending up being free because it's just not really a realistic thing for them to have to police this at the gate. I do increasingly get travel grants more frequently now, but they don't always give you the full amount. You find out weeks after the event, and you have a cap on how many travel grants you can get, right, at some of the councils. So all things to think about. So think through this strategically, make sure it's worth the expense, even if you don't recoup. And then if you do, that's great. Then you top up the budget, you go to the next one. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.